Welcome to episode 4 of the Caleb Simmons Coaches Show. Coach, good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to be back.
Let's talk about this big win of the Cold Springs Eagles. Kids responded well. Up to this point, you guys have won comfortably. Faced some adversity in the first half, and how the kids respond, got down in a game. So let's talk about that first. How were things at halftime? You're up 7-6, I believe. Talk about halftime and that first half, and how the kids responded to that. Played well in the second half.
Well, the first half, we had 8 plays of offense.
Yeah,
8 plays.
They did.
The whole game, I think they had 69 offensive plays. We had like 33.
Mm-hmm.
So, their game plan going in was to hold the ball, keep our offense off the field,
Sure.
and that's what they did. Now, It didn't help that the 40-second clock wasn't working, or
Right.
25-second clock wasn't working.
Right.
So it was taking quite a while in between plays, and that plays into their favor. But we didn't panic. When we knew when we had the ball, we were going to score. It wasn't a question of scoring. It was a question of getting the ball, getting off the field on defense. And we didn't play up to our expectations on the offense and defensive line. That was probably the worst game we've had all year, but they played really well up to this point. Kind of made some adjustments defensively at halftime, and kids responded well. We come out and we scored 27 unanswered. So, we got it figured out. It was good for us to be in a game like that because we haven't played a full game all year until last week.
Sure.
So we were a little bit out of shape, and that's totally all my fault because I didn't take into account our starters only playing half games.
Sure.
So we got to get that remedied a little bit. But all in all, I'm glad of the way we responded. Ended up having a good night offensively. So
you mentioned the plays. I loosely kept up with it the first episode, I was sitting there watching. I think they had the ball like 21 minutes or something crazy. And it just that's what they wanted to do was kind of hold the football and try to grind it out. Who are some players this week that stood out to you on film as you guys watched it, or maybe in real time as you're watching the game that played well this week at Cold Springs?
Well, I think obviously Chris. He had a lot of yards. He had a couple yards. He had probably over 100 yards called back, and whenever he touched the ball, whenever it was in his hands, we had a chance to score. So really, he did a really good job. I think Aderholt did a really good job up front. Yeah, he caught one, and he catch one.
Well, maybe that's a long game. I don't think it was a touchdown.
Yeah, well, he had a long game, but that was also called back. We had like an 81-yard touchdown called back, and then like a 58-yard pass called back right in a row. So we had to overcome a lot of adversity.
You can't say this, but I can. So you don't have to give an answer if you don't feel comfortable. Did the Stripes have like an NIL deal with Cold Springs?
They had something going on because we get the wide copy and we get the drone copy, and I've watched a lot of the film trying to find them, and I ain't found them yet.
Well, what the long pass was an eligible receiver downfield, I think it was.
I don't know.
Something along that line. And I was watching the line, and I looked back, and I saw the flag, and I thought, well, maybe it's something different. But it looked like everything was straight up. So, we won't talk much about that. But we could, any football game, I guess, or any sporting event.
And not to take anything away from Cold Springs, because they did a really good job executing, their plan.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to bring up next. Compared from this year to last year, Cold Springs was significantly improved.
Way better.
Yeah,
in my opinion, they were way better.
Absolutely great. A really good football team and gave us a really good test. Mm-hmm. I know they're going to have already had a good season. They were 3-1 going into that game. I know they're going to have a good season.
I'm looking for them to be a playoff team in that region, and we could end up facing them in the first or second round.
Oh, sure, no doubt.
If we're both fortunate enough to make it that far, we could very easily end up playing them again. And like I said, last week he's a good friend of mine, and we bounce ideas off of each other. So I wouldn't put it past them being the 2, the 3 in that region.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is they're always such gracious hosts. Their facilities, they've done a lot of work around the facilities.
Yes, it's nice up there.
Yeah, very nice. And so we always enjoy going to Cold Springs, and we appreciate them being gracious hosts last week for us. And we appreciate Bradley each week. He gives us highlights, and enjoy this now of the big win, 27-6 over the Cold Springs Eagles. All right, Coach, let's talk about Curry Yellow Jackets. It was seemingly a annual opponent now for Winston County. They came over in the Free State kickoff. They were improved, looked like, had a good football team. I know they struggled in the regular season, but can't take any opponent lightly. So tell us a little bit about Curry. What can we expect to see on Thursday now? I guess folks got to notice that time change, right?
Yeah, bring your galoshes and your slickers in case of the rain. But you could tell when they played Sulligent in the jamboree over here, they were much better than they have been in the past. Yeah. You know, that they're stronger, they're moving better, they're a lot better coached. So they're trending in the right direction. Yeah. Coach Cordell's done a really good job over there. They're going in the right direction. They're just taking a little, some bumps in the road, but they're much improved.
Yeah, we got building something, right? I mean, they've had some struggles in the past. He's trying to build something there. Young team as well.
Yeah.
So they'll get better each year. How about practice this week? How's that going? How the kids looked in terms of getting prepared for this football game?
Well, I called the offensive line out, Monday morning. So they responded well yesterday. They had a good day yesterday. I'm looking for them to have a good day today. And if we just, get back to what we were doing, running the ball effectively and doing what we're coached to do, we'll be fine. We just can't, we can't get our head so swelled up that we can't get it in our helmet.
Yeah.
That's going to be the biggest challenge.
It's always a challenge going on the road anywhere. So,
yes.
Of course, not in region play, but we'll get back to that next week. But good luck on Friday night. Let's talk a little bit about Monday night. Junior high group had a big win at homecoming with Addison Bulldogs. Notice you and Bradley down there working with them on the sideline. Tell us a little bit about the big win last night.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter what level of football it is. Winning a football game is really, really hard. Winning 5 in a row is really, really hard. Winning as many as we've won at the JV level is really, really hard. Right. So that just goes back to the work of these kids. Mm-hmm. It ain't got nothing. Doesn't have anything to do with us. It's they decided this is what they wanted to be, and they've done it. So, and that goes from 7th grade all the way to 12th grade. So, right. They've done a really good job. All through the program.
Sure. And bounce back. I think they had lost to Addison.
Mm-hmm. They lost over there,
and then had a big win last night. Kyler Grace had a big game.
Mm-hmm. He threw the ball well. He ran the ball well. Defense played really well. The only time they scored, Addison got a pick, and they got down inside the 5 and scored then. But outside of that, we really played really well on defense, containing all their weapons.
Taking Cochran had a couple of interceptions.
Did you see that one pick he had?
Yes,
oh my goodness! Yeah. Come back with his backhand and just one-handed it.
Yeah, right.
It was pretty impressive.
Right in the middle of the field against a high school level quarterback.
Yes,
had one of their older kids playing quarterback for them. So, congratulations to you guys, Coach Moody, and all the guys and all the JV guys on a big homecoming win on Monday night. Coach, good luck Friday night.
Hey, one thing we do need to talk about. Our volleyball team is ranked number 3 in the state.
That's right. And we mentioned this last night at the JV game. They won the gold bracket. At Hamilton, and had games last night, ranked number 3. Those ladies, we had a couple on last week. Had Marley on in the season,
and the band, Coach Watts, Sergeant Watts. They got all those superior age. I mean, everything's going good.
Everything's
all around right now.
Yeah, that was a long day in Russellville. It was hot, and it was the kids were there from basically lunch to midnight, and so they all got ones and got second in their classification. So they did well, and the band's young. They got a lot of 7th graders.
Oh yeah, big ups to Coach Horn and to Lieutenant Watts for all the stuff they're doing.
That sounds good. Well, success breeds success, and we're so thankful the kids are responding well to everything and doing well in all areas. So, Coach, good luck Friday night. Look forward to seeing you, and look forward to watching hopefully a big win over the Curry Yellow Jackets Thursday night at Curry, kickoff 7 p.m.
Yes, sir. Go Jackets.
All right, this week we're joined by senior offensive lineman, defensive lineman, drum specialist extraordinaire, Parker Shannon. Good to have Parker. Is this the first time you've been on here with me?
Yes.
It is. Okay. I don't know if I got you with band before.
I've never been got with band, so this is first time for
both
of them, I guess.
We'll talk about both things. How about that? So let's talk about football. So this is your first year playing varsity football. So how do you like it so far?
It's been a great experience. I mean, it kind of started back during volleyball season last year.
Yeah.
I started thinking, I like the Simmons guy. I think he would probably let me do both. And it's been something that I've really considered since I was about a sophomore in high school.
Sure.
And then ever since I showed interest in it, he's just kind of thrown me in the fire. But, I mean, ever since day one I've come out here, grown closer with a lot of the teammates, and I've enjoyed every bit of it.
We had kids several years ago. No coaches will let that happen. It's been several years ago since we had somebody do both, and it's you and Blake Tucker on varsity, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's
me and Blake, and we're both drummers too.
Yeah, So Mr. Watts was like, "You can't get hurt." Right?
Yeah. He told me that if I got hurt, he would. I can't say that, but anyways.
we won't talk about that. Well, let's talk about your season so far. You guys are 5-0, ranked number 10 at 2A. New rankings come out next week. Might move up or down. Can't move down, but might hopefully maybe move up after a big win.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about Coach Simmons mentioned in the interview that he called out the offensive line. So tell us a little bit about that.
So,
what was he addressing?
So I noticed on Friday and Saturday that he only posted 7 clips for the offensive and D line on huddle,
Yeah.
which normally you would think that's a good thing because he only had to make 7 corrections.
Yeah.
But then after we worked out Monday morning, we went in the gym
Yeah.
to do what I thought was going to be a run through of some formations and stuff.
Yeah.
And when we got in there, he pretty much just started going over all the stuff that we did wrong and told us that we needed to get it together.
Yeah.
Because we are not going to be able to compete at a higher level if we keep playing like we did.
You got tougher games coming up. At this point, hopefully playoffs. I mean, you don't want to look too far ahead. Hopefully playoffs coming up. You got to get things fixed. I've been in those situations, those meetings. They're uncomfortable. For everybody. So, all right, let's talk about Coach Simmons mentioned marching band and the success in Russellville at the Northwest Alabama Marching Classic. Talk a little bit about that experience and things that went well for you guys on Saturday.
So going into it, we did kind of have some expectations for ourselves as well as expectations for how it would play out. And I think that it went pretty well considering, it's the first competition of the year. All the judges, everybody there expects every band that's there to have a show that's going to be more raw than it is towards the end of the season because you don't have as much time to clean by the first competition. But all in all, I think that we did a pretty good job representing our band. We did a pretty good job getting, like you said earlier, we have so many younger kids in 7th and 8th grade that have never been around or seen anything like that before. So for it to be the first time and us to have the second overall band in 2A and best in class percussion, best in class drum major, dance line, all those things, I think we did a pretty good job representing our band.
When you got like my son Blake, he's an 8th grader. He's now a veteran as an 8th grader, right?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Kind of weird to think about.
It's young. They're young. They're doing well with it. And Macy's doing a great job. 10th grader, right?
Yes.
So the drum major's young. It's Riley Horsley was in the same situation when she was doing drum major. So everything seems to be going well. Let's talk about one non-football thing. I always pitch a question. I want to talk about something else. So with us at church, you're involved in what's called Lads Leaders, Leaderettes, and you're taking on what's called a Red Coat Leadership Project.
Yes, sir.
So let's talk a little bit about that and what you're doing for that project.
So I decided several years back I wanted to be part of this Red Coat thing. And I knew that it wasn't going to be easy, but I knew that it was something that if I dedicated my time and efforts to, I could absolutely reach this goal. And so I'm to the point now where the only thing that I've got left to complete the Red Coat Award is my leadership project. And so we have a guy from church, Tim Hodge. He works with Rainbow Omega, and he actually reached out to me and told me that he had a opportunity where I could come and serve them, which he thought would count for the qualifications that meet the Red Coat Service Project Award. And so I decided to choose Rainbow Omega to serve, and everything with the raised planters and the sidewalk that we're going to go and pour, hopefully a couple weeks from now in October during our bye week. It's all coming together pretty well, and I think that it's going to be a great opportunity to serve people that need it for sure, for one. And for two, I think it's going to be a great way to raise awareness for Rainbow Omega and all the people down there.
So Rainbow Omega, if you're not familiar with it, Tim Hodge, no stranger to those of us in Delta Springs, he works as a CEO. It's a home for special needs adults, and they go there and they live there.
Yes, it's like an assisted living. Different levels of ambulatory services are provided for them. And they have a lot of fundraisers. They plant poinsettias, and that's one of their biggest ones. So this will allow wheelchair-bound people to be able to participate in that, right? Yes.
All right, well, that's good. Well, Parker, thanks for coming on, being with us today. Kind of doubling up, talking about football and band. And good luck Thursday night against Curry. And then week from Saturday, we are at Winfield. Dora. Band will be at Dora.
Yes.
Okay. So we got at least 3 more competitions coming up.
We got 3 more left. We got Dora, Winfield, and then we close off the season at Hansville.
We also did Mud Creek, right? So
yes.
That's good. Well, congratulations on the successful weekend, and looking forward to watching Parker both on the football field and on Friday nights. You'll see he and Blake out there. The team goes to halftime. They go get their equipment and march, and they're doing a great job. And looking forward to watching them this Thursday night, both in the band and in the football at Curry.
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's segment of Yapping with Jaeger. Today we have Aiden Fox. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Thank you for coming out. So, first question is going to be, based on our episode last week, who do you think deserves the job of Director of Football Operations?
Well, I personally think it's Kevin. I mean, JJ's here, but what does he really do? I mean, he complains about his job. He's always aggressive at practice.
He is?
Yeah, he always just napping. He gets on our nerves more than anything.
Yeah,
I think
a distraction.
I think if he could learn to just mind his own business, he would be a better fit.
Okay. And you've been doing it here a lot recently, and me and the other linemen need to know why. Like, what is your obsession with running upfield on pass plays?
Well, I think I might just get caught in the moment a little bit, see somebody a little bit too far up the field, and I just decide to go for them.
Try to go get them.
Yeah, try to go get them.
All right, I feel you. And what are your thoughts on the military after high school?
Well, I think it's a great idea, actually. Be able to provide for my family and serve my country.
What does your girlfriend think about that?
Well, she wasn't too pleased about that decision with my life, but she started to see my point of view about it. She started to understand where I come from. But we're getting there.
All right. Thank you for coming out today. Come back next week for another segment of Yapping with Yeager.